Time is precious. Freedom is precious. Let me know when you're ready. Oh, we on? Okay, love and respect. Welcome back, everybody. My name is Chase McCurdy. I'm the director here at 33 Gallery, aka 33G, and we are here today with another edition of Gallery Notes. I'm here in space with Edison Lockwood II, film director, and just part of the tribe here at 33G. We are currently in the space of Intuition Only, the debut solo exhibition by X.Darvi. This work will be on display through to September 26, 2025. So please go to our website, make an appointment, or visit one of our events and happenings to be able to interact with the work. She did a great job. This has been a very well-received show, and we're very proud of X.Darvi. For today's gallery note, we are going to talk about this idea of depth of practice as an artist. I have a lot of conversations about how to determine what is a quote-unquote good artist. For me, I always come back to this idea of depth. First and foremost, what it takes to express oneself in any sort of, I think, real way, the first way that I will define art in this space, for me, art is where the respect or mastery of craft, i.e. painting, photography, sculpture, music, playing an instrument, dance, these are all crafts that one can work toward mastery of, but at the very least have respect of. When that respect or mastery of craft meets sincerity of human spirit, when these two things come together, for me, that is when you're getting to the space of art. So my definition of quote-unquote art falls outside of the realm of just paintings, photographs, once again, drawings, and things that we normally just associate as art, but really takes this idea of art into really any sphere of human existence and human activity. But we're going to bring it back to this idea of the artist as the person who creates these sorts of things, paintings, drawings, etc., what that means to be a good artist, and we bring that back to depth of practice. First and foremost, we know an artist's depth of practice by the time invested. Time is a great resource, the greatest resource that none of us get back. So very often people, I think, unfairly kind of poo-poo this idea of, oh, we don't know about a great artist until they're dead. Yes, sometimes that's unfortunate, especially if somebody has been putting in work for decades in a real way and has yet to be recognized. But in general, for me, it takes time for us to know that an artist has that depth, whose work is powerful and that it has consistency over time. It's easy, in my opinion, to create a one-off work to get people to say they like it, right? Or to create something to get a double tap, or to just sell something, or to just get a job. Honestly, that is not the highest bar. So in this way, I want to see what that artist is doing over time, how the work changes with their personal changes and evolutions, how their work changes in relationship to the world in which they live in. So in that, we also come to this point of societal relevance. When I teach what people consider the arts, we take the word art out of it. When I teach, whether it be children, seniors, a combination of both, I don't care about you being or not being an artist. I like to teach people how to use these means of painting, drawing, photography, etc., to express themselves freely. I believe everybody needs some sort of space, whether it's an activity in terms of drawing, if it's for someone reading, if it's for someone exercising, sports, whatever it is. Everyone needs a free space for their spiritual expression. When it comes to now the artists, we have to get into this place of you're getting beyond just your personal feelings, right? And when I think about value as an artist, I think about this idea of the work having some sort of relationship to the society that they're living in at that time. It doesn't have to come in the form of overt commentary, but when you look at that person's physical output in relation to time and place, it should have some sort of connection, relationship that gives us an insight into that slice of humanity at that point in time and in that place, whatever that may be. We've touched on a couple of these points already, but now I want to bring out a couple other points that for me identify a good or a deep artist. This idea of energy. Much like time, energy, is limited in our experience. Yes, energy never dies or is created, but it is fleeting for us in the individual moment. And the combination of time and energy, along with intentionality, discipline, and consistency, determines really the artist you're going to be. And this last note, I'd like to use almost this analogy of sports. In basketball, say for example, you have folks, or any sport, you have people that just like to play. Whether as a kid you get into it, right? Much like arts, a lot of folks are introduced to the arts as a kid, drawing, maybe a little bit of painting, because it's a normal activity in that way. Sports, a lot of us play sports when we're young, but there's a difference when it gets to different levels. Look, there's a space of the intramural athlete or the person that just goes and plays pickup at 24 or at the park. That's the love of the game. That's amazing. That exists with the amateur artist as well. The person who is just expressing themselves through these physical means when they have the time, when they have the energy, as the rest of their life they live, right? Because they're putting that focus and primary intention on life outside of what may be their expressive output. When you get into the world of the artist, this is where the levels come in as well. Okay, you got some people who may take their enjoyment of a sport, they're going to add some work behind it, and they may be good enough to play junior varsity or varsity at their high school. Then you have another level of intentionality and work ethic and a bit of sacrifice to get to maybe junior college, or maybe you get a D1 scholarship. And then there's that smaller number, and this is where you start to get to a little bit of like natural like talent, right? Or finding kind of your purpose combined with work and effort. And you get to folks who are in that professional range. Some folks only make the G League or only get to play in summer league. Some folks make it to the pros. Some folks are only 6-man or don't really start. Some folks start. Some folks are all-stars. Some people put in so much work and are so singularly focused, as well as having natural gifts, that they become all-time greats in what they do. I think the same thing exists in the arts. We just have to choose to value that first and foremost as artists. You know when you're putting in a certain time and energy. A lot of folks in our tribe kind of make fun of me at this point because I say it all the time. In my 20s, I didn't have a television. I've never had pets. A lot of my personal relationships have been sacrificed. I haven't spent a lot of time going out and just kind of like relationship building as much as others. I was getting older. My apartments were getting smaller. I don't have children. My life, in every moment, every resource, time, energy, combined with discipline and consistency, I've dedicated my life to my practice for about 15 years now. And there's a certain, one, just confidence and security that comes from that. But two, this is where a lot of the opportunities have come from for me to be able to live as an artist and then further found and direct a gallery where we are able to share the work of others. A lot of that work is done in the shadows with no one paying attention or even seeing. But this is the kind of work that it takes to be great. Even in sports, Steph Curry did not get good at just shooting threes and turning around, know that it's going in just by accident. He spent untold hours, days, weeks, months, years in the no camera space of the gym, just getting good at what they're doing. The same thing exists in the arts. Yes, I know a lot of people just want to live a quote unquote creative life, and that's fine. That's not the world of the artist for me. The artist is someone who is intentionally in practice over time, whose work has some relationship to the society in which they live, and who are not simply focused on being seen for what they do, but who are focused upon some sincere expression utilizing the craft of their choice and means in the most humane and honest way possible over time. But that's just my thought, my idea. Same with gallery notes. We never tell you what to think. We just want to introduce some ideas for you to think about. Maybe this has an effect on you or your practice, maybe even how you see the arts. But with that, we appreciate your time. I'm sorry if I'm a little sweaty. The gallery AC is out right now. We getting it fixed. Shout out to the landlord. But yeah, we appreciate y'all. Another gallery note. Shout out to Edison Lockwood II. Next time we'll have our brother Cool Kobe back to give us a little mix. But in the meantime, come and check out the work of X.Darvi, her debut solo exhibition titled Intuition Only. Love and respect.